Coming up on Mountain News this morning, heavy rain swept throughout much of central and eastern Kentucky yesterday. We take a look at the damage as more storms are in the forecast. Primary Care and Hazard has made some big changes to its drive-through clinics, aiming to have even less people risking exposure to COVID-19. And with the state reopening in phases, ARH announced new visitation guidelines yesterday. We take a look at what that means for patients and their loved ones.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Katie Cook. It is Wednesday, May the 20th, and your time is about 5 o'clock. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Brandon, are we going to see as much rain today as we did yesterday?
I certainly hope not, but the potential is there to see some more. There is some good news this morning, though, Katie. We are seeing a break in the rain there for a lot of the regions, some heavier bands moving out of the state going into parts of West Virginia. But for the most part, a lot of us in a break for the moment. Also, some good news. Most of the about half of the flash flood watch was canceled a little early. It was supposed to go till 8 o'clock this morning, and then the other half goes until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So still some populated areas still in that till tomorrow morning, so something to keep an eye on as we head through the daytime hours today. Visibility a little bit rough in spots this morning. It's not showing too bad just yet, but again, I think we see some patchy dense fog across the area. Temperatures much cooler than even yesterday, and they were cooler yesterday than the day before, so that trend continues. All of us in the 50s with the exception of Logan and Wise at 48 this morning. Your out the door forecast, take the rain gear if you have to be out, because I do think even though we get a break this morning, those rain chances will increase as we head deeper into the day. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that for you. The rest of the forecast on the way here in just a little bit. Katie?
All right, Brandon, thank you. In Jackson County, this heavy rain brought down trees, knocked out power, and submerged streets and cars. Officials in the county said they had multiple water rescues. Many of the spots with high water were along Highway 421. One family in McKee had water surround their home and Mission and have had to move the reopening date on their store from today until next week.
Yeah. There's no water's gotten into any of the church or our apartment or the attic. It's all been exterior. So it looks bad. The parking lot will probably be really muddy and have to be cleaned by the time it's all said and done.
Altogether, officials think they received roughly 7 or 8 inches of rain in Jackson County. Crews have been out assessing any damage. Heavy rains is leading to flooding across the Bluegrass. This is what it looked like in Powell County yesterday. The 911 director says they started getting the first calls a little before 8 in the morning. Roads in Clay City that usually flood well after others were getting hit first. They even had to monitor parts of the Mountain Parkway. And in central Kentucky, Montgomery County received around 5 inches of rain. Rescue crews there say several roads are flooded and they've been called to rescue drivers stuck in high water. Luckily, no injuries have been reported. Meanwhile, in central Kentucky, major flooding is expected in parts of Cynthiana. Officials said last night that people living in low-lying areas near the river should leave before it's too late. The attitude there is somber, with many expecting to lose a lot to high water. The mayor has declared a state of emergency, and some say they are now acting fast, trying to come up with plans.
When I woke up this morning, I knew the water was up a little bit, but I never dreamed that it was going to be putting me out of my house.
Just to help you understand, our sister station has seen neighbors stuffing vehicles with as much as they can. Many of them are trying to find somewhere to stay. Governor Andy Beshear struck a somber tone during his COVID-19 update last night. He announced 164 new cases and 20 new deaths. That's the highest one-day death toll since the virus was first reported in Kentucky. The Commonwealth now has 8,069 cases and 366 deaths. More than 2,800 people have recovered. And Primary Care and Hazard has made some big changes to its drive-through clinics. They have started consolidating the tents and they have added 2 trailers. These trailers have 2 exam rooms in them as well as office space for nurses. They can now do almost everything in their drive-through clinic except for x-rays and ultrasounds.
We can do minor procedures. We can actually give the injections. We're able to do some maybe eye exams, things like that in a more controlled environment.
No appointments are necessary for the drive-through clinic. They are open every day of the week. Well, COVID-19 testing will begin today at the Pineville Community Health Center from 11 until 5. This testing is by appointment only, but you can be tested without symptoms. After today, testing will be available Mondays and Fridays from 11 to 5 and Saturdays from 10 to 2. We talked with the CEO of the health center yesterday about the new testing.
And we didn't want to wait too long, especially now that Bell County has its first positive case. So we are kicking it off tomorrow. And so far we've got 12 patients that have scheduled for tomorrow. We have another 8 on Friday and 2 on Saturday.
The phone number to schedule an appointment is 606-654-4693. With the state reopening in phases, ARH announced new visitation guidelines yesterday. They will now allow one person to visit a patient at a time, and that visitor will also undergo a new series of procedures: a temperature check, screen for COVID-19 symptoms, and they must wear a mask. While some may say these new restrictions seem harsh, ARH Chief Medical Officer Dr. Maria Brahman says they are necessary.
We have to take into consideration not only the patient, who we have to limit exposure to possible COVID-19. We have to also be concerned for our staff, as well as all of our community members. And we are still in the midst of a pandemic.
There are also new visitation hours and other restrictions on who can be a visitor. Well, thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Kentucky is not the only area hit hard by severe weather this week. People in Michigan were told to leave their homes as 2 nearby dams threatened to fail.